What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Got some big news for you guys here, including a massive vote coming into this week and weekend, which will affect, well, hundreds of millions of Americans. I'm going to give you the details on that, as well as why we just lost over $100 billion, and it's insane. It's actually insane. I'm going to show you guys the details of that here and more in this video. So let me catch you up to date. We are live right now here on the It's Jimmy Show on YouTube. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know your city, state, or even your country. And also let me know if the winter storm hit you and how much snow you got over the weekend. Here in Ohio, you can see our tree there. We got almost a foot of snow over around a 24-hour period or so, and it was pretty brutal. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button for us, and if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future updates. Take a look here. Yeah, this winter storm actually forces thousands and thousands of flight cancellations and delays as well. Over 5,300 flights were canceled, and over 4,300 were delayed due to this storm. Yeah, AccuWeather estimates the storm damage and economic loss for the United States at anywhere from $105 billion to $115 billion after this crippling storm. And hundreds of thousands of people are without power. Take a look here.
Energy companies across the country working to restore power after the storm sparked outages, like Adam said, for nearly 1 million customers. But how long is it going to take to get everything back up and running?
Our next guest is a spokesperson for Duke Energy, which provides power to 7.4 million customers in the Carolinas, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Florida. Jeff Brooks joins us now. Jeff, thank you so much for being here. Which have the hardest hit areas been when it comes to power outages? And give us a timeline on when you expect the lights to be turned back on.
Well, yesterday was an evolving day. We saw a lighter than expected number of outages at the start of the day. A lot of sleet mixed in with the freezing rain, which helped to reduce those accumulations and provided a little bit of benefits, especially from, say, Charlotte over toward the Triangle. But what we began to see as the afternoon progressed was a spike in outages west of Charlotte, kind of in the mountains, down in the upstate of South Carolina, Asheville area, Hendersonville. All these areas began to see large amounts of freezing rain as a second wave of moisture came through, and that drove a significant number of outages. We had at one point more than 50,000 customers out in that general area, which is a lot for where that is. We're looking at about a little less than 1,000 individual outage locations that'll have to be repaired. Our crews have been out as long as it's been safe to do so. So we did get a little bit of progress last night after the peak around 9:30. And today will be a really tough day, working very hard in some challenging geography, in some challenging ice conditions to get everybody back restored.
Jeff, you mentioned pre-positioning. How challenging was it to pre-position crews from other states? Because, let's face it, this storm covered most of the country. Those states themselves are dealing with the storm too. And those crews, by and large, I would imagine, had to stay in the states where they originate, so they couldn't help you out like they would in a normal storm. How challenging was that, Jeff?
Well, that's right. You know, we had this storm impacting a lot of the East Coast. This was a testament to our mutual aid agreements, the agreements we have with other utilities, with other contractors. We were able to secure crews from over 40 states, so crews from here and there, places we could get. And we used our damage modeling to figure out the right places to place them around North and South Carolina so that they could be put into play. We also leveraged the size of our utility. We have crews in Florida that are Duke Energy crews and contractors that were not in play in this storm that we were able to move ahead of the storm to put them into place. And they're familiar with our system, familiar with our crews. So it was a great way to integrate those into our system along with the crews we were able to get. And again, that is probably the biggest change from the early 2000 ice storms, is that ability to cooperate and leverage resources around the country.
Yeah, insane that a winter storm could cost the United States over $100 billion. Let me know your thoughts on that. Next up, are you ready for another government shutdown and possibly another long one? Well, that is in the works, it looks like, as you can see here, shutdown threat looms as Senate Democrats pledge to block funding after the Minneapolis ICE shooting. Most of the government could shut down this weekend, but ICE operations will carry on. After a federal agent killed Alex Preddy in Minnesota, Democrats say they won't vote for what was a bipartisan bill to fund most of the government, including DHS and ICE. And there's a big disagreement between Republicans and Democrats over health care, which, remember, the health care subsidies have lapsed. And Democrats are also digging their heels in on that, saying that health care is now going to be double or triple the cost. And if they don't pass the health care subsidies or some other major Republican health care complete plan, we could be in for a long government shutdown. Take a look.
Yesterday's shooting in Minneapolis may have all but sealed another government shutdown just days from now. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Democrats will not move forward with a spending bill that includes DHS funding. South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham posted to X scolding Democrats backing out of the bipartisan agreement, calling it reckless. Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram is tracking this closely and joins us by phone. Hi, Chad.
Rich, good afternoon. It is increasingly likely we have a partial government shutdown next Saturday morning. It's about the math. Republicans need the votes of Democrats to clear a filibuster and put the spending plan on the floor. Now, Democrats were sketchy in their support before the shooting, but yesterday pushed them over the edge. Listen.
We can't vote to fund this lawless Department of Homeland Security. We cannot fund a Department of Homeland Security that is murdering American citizens, that is traumatizing little boys and girls all across the country in violation of the law.
Now, this bill funds 78% of the government. It includes money for DHS and the Pentagon. They need 60 yeas. Independent Senator Angus King of Maine helped end the fall shutdown, but he will not vote yes this time because of ICE.
I hate shutdowns. I'm one of the people that helped negotiate the solution to the end of the last shutdown, but I can't vote for a bill that includes ICE funding under these circumstances.
And even if they change the spending package, funding would lapse because the House and Senate are not aligned. The House is out this week. New Hampshire Democrat Jean Shaheen did not respond directly when asked how she would vote.
People are outraged by what's happening in Minnesota and by the out-of-control officers, federal officers that they're seeing on the ground by this shooting yesterday. It is horrific.
Now, as you say, GOP South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham accused Democrats of backing out of a bipartisan deal. He called this, quote, reckless and disappointing. They're trying to maybe rejigger this package a little bit in the Senate this week, but it's unclear if they can do that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of mixed feelings about ICE going out there and, quote, doing their job, but the method they're doing it in. And I've seen videos of them, just pepper spraying and macing people just literally on the side of the street. And of course, the shootings now, and also how these agents have their faces covered and aren't accountable like a police officer would be. Police officer, they pull you over, they have body cams, they're recording, you know who they are, they have their name right there, you can ask them their name and badge number, they're accountable. So if something goes wrong and they do something that they're not supposed to, well, there's recourse for that. With ICE agents right now, there is none. They can literally go out there and do whatever they want without any recourse. And I think this is the problem that a lot of people have with how they're doing their job right now. I think that they're out there to do a job and to get rid of illegal immigrants, which shouldn't have been in the country to begin with. But they have to do it the right way. We can't just turn this into a free-for-all from law enforcement that can go in and terrorize any city, mace and spray people on the sidewalks, and they're not even accountable. Let me know your thoughts on this, but I think this is going to lead to another government shutdown, along with the healthcare costs, which is now more than double for tens of millions of Americans, and is presenting a massive problem to which we don't even know if there is a solution. So let me know your thoughts, and I will keep you up to date. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos, and make sure to share this video. Click here to see why President Donald Trump is set to fork over hundreds of billions of dollars here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.